Okay, well, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this workshop for the invitation. I'm very excited to be here. At our center, we are working on quite related topics. So, I'm working as a researcher at the Center for Science and Technology Studies at Leiden University in the Netherlands. And at our center, we perform quite a lot of bibliometric studies for universities, government agencies, funding agencies, scientific publishers. Our bibliometric studies mainly rely on Web of Science data, so we have a special license. So we buy the raw data of Web of Science and we have built an in-house version of the Web of Science database. Now the reliability of our bibliometric studies, they depend of course on also the quality, the accuracy of the citation links between publications in Web of Science. And in turn, the accuracy of the citation links between publications depends on the accuracy of the data on the cited references. And also the accuracy of the citation matching procedure that is used. So the procedure that is used to link cited references back to the cited publications or the target publications. And it's quite interesting, there is little known about both of those important elements. So in this presentation I would like to focus on those two elements. So first of all I would like to present some work that we did on the accuracy of citation matching algorithms. And secondly I would like to talk about the accuracy of cited reference data in Web of Science. So let me first begin with the accuracy of citation matching algorithms. The results of this study are already presented in the scientific literature in a publication published in the JSIS, and this was a joint effort. So I collaborated with Nees Jan and Marion Schmidt from the German Center for Higher Education and Science Studies, formerly known as IFQ. I will briefly show you the results of this study. But let me first briefly explain the citation matching problem itself. So sometimes it is also called reference matching. So we have a bibliographic database, so Web of Science for example, or a Scopus database. These databases, they contain the metadata on a large collection of scientific publications, so with the title of a publication available to authors, and also very important information on the cited references. And then citation matching is the process of linking each cited reference to a particular paper, a cited paper, a target paper in the database. So in this example, our challenge is to identify that this first reference in paper A is referring to paper B, and the second reference is referring to paper C. So that's basically the citation matching process. And why is citation matching difficult? Now, first of all, we are dealing with big data, so large numbers of publications, large numbers of cited references. So in Web of Science we have about 50 million publications available, 1 billion cited references. And in the Web of Science database there is little information available about the cited references. So we have only the first author, the last name and initials of this author, an abbreviated source title, the publication year, the volume number, and the first page number, and sometimes also a DOI. So this is an example of a cited reference and the amount of data that we have available for such a cited reference. So it's not much. So for example, the issue number is missing, the title of the article is missing, and the co-authors are missing. And then there is a third reason why citation matching in the context of Web of Science is a challenge, because the data contains errors. So errors due to citation extraction errors, So OCR errors, interpretation errors due to different citation styles. And of course, inside the references we have also a lot of typos and other errors made by humans. Now, there is little known about the citation matching algorithm used in Web of Science, but as far as we can see it, and previous research have shown that Web of Science is probably using a quite conservative matching algorithm. So it is only making a match if there are no or almost no errors in the cited reference information. So it's a very strict matching procedure. So at citation we have developed our own citation matching algorithm, and the aim of this algorithm was to overcome the problem of missed citation matches in Web of Science. It's an iterative rule-based algorithm, so we first start with some pre-processing of the data, some cleaning. So we remove numerical values from string values, things like that. And then, first of all, we apply the most restrictive matching rule. So a rule that says that all matching fields have to match. And if you cannot match a particular cited reference based on this most restrictive rule to a particular cited publication in the database, then we continue with less and less restrictive matching rules until we find a match. The less restrictive matching rules, they allow for various types of inaccuracies in the cited reference data. So on this slide I've listed two matching rules. So the most restrictive matching rule, so all fields have to match using this rule, and an example of a less restrictive matching rule. So then a match, for example, is made based on the syntax encoding of the last name of the first author, the publication year plus or minus 1, the volume number, and the start base number. So this matching rule allows for errors, small errors in the author name. It allows for a missing source title or errors in the source title, and some small errors in the publication year, for example. Together with colleagues, we have validated the citation matching algorithm of my own center, the citation matching algorithm of IFQ, and the one provided by Web of Science. And we have used a validation data set for this. Marlies Olensky did a data collection, and this data set was generated based on the 300 publications, so cited publications from 2 science domains, 6 disciplines, 2 languages, and 2 publication years. And then Marlies did a lot of work finding all corresponding cited references in Web of Science that are referring to those 300 publications. So both the cited references that are linked in Web of Science to those 300 publications, but also the cited references that are not linked in Web of Science. So almost 4,000 citing publications, and she has also collected the PDF files of those publications, and she manually checked the reference list whether the particular cited reference was indeed present in the cited reference list. On this slide we see some results. So in this first table we see the number of correct matches and the number of missed matches for the 3 different algorithms. And based on this table we can measure the recall. So in the case of the CLTS, the recall is 98.6%. It means that 98.6% of all citations were correctly matched, were found by our algorithm. it's comparable to the result for AFQ, but for Web of Science we see that it is significantly lower. So in the case of Web of Science, there are a lot of cited references that are not linked to the target publications. Then we have a second table with the correct matches and the incorrect matches. And based on those figures, we can calculate the precision of the different strategies. So again, in the case of CLTS, we see 98.8%. So it means that 98.8% of all matches are in fact correct. So for Web of Science, we see a somewhat higher number, and that's because they are using a really strict algorithm. Then we have performed a qualitative analysis of the missed citations, because we want to learn from this validation study as well. And then in the case of CLTS, we have identified three main groups of reasons why we have missed matches. First of all, a big group was completely incorrect cited references, so the cited reference data was completely incorrect. I will come back to that later on. So we can not do much about that. But there are two other groups of errors. So missing data values, so missing publication year, missing volume number, for example, and disarranged data values. So for example, when the volume number is introduced with the page number. And based on these findings, we have tried to improve our algorithm. So we have introduced some additional matching rules. First of all, a matching rule in which the volume and the issue number are interchanged. Another rule in which the volume number and the first page number are interchanged. And we did some small changes in the order in which we applied the matching rules. And based on these changes, we were able to improve both recall and precision of our procedure. So that was, so we have learned a lot from this manual validation. So some first conclusions. A significant number of citation matches are missing in Web of Science. Substantial improvement in recall is possible, but at the cost of a small decrease in precision. Citation matching algorithm of CLTS performs quite well, and I think quite interesting, during the analysis, various problems were detected in the Web of Science cited reference extraction. So I already told you, so we have found cited references that contain errors. And this is in fact the second topic that I would like to present. So the accuracy of the Web of Science cited reference extraction. I have to stress that this is work in progress. So we are not completely finished yet, but I would like to share the first results with you. Well, the aim of this study is to determine the accuracy of the Web of Science cited reference data. And we take the following approach. We compare the cited references extracted from full text data from Elsevier publications, and we compare it with the data that is available in Web of Science. So this is the data that we have used. So Elsevier provided us with access to the Science Direct API, and using this API we are able to collect all subscription-based journal publications for the past 30 years. For Web of Science, we have filtered on the document types article and review, and then we have matched those publication sets at the level of individual publications. And then in this graph we see the number of matched publications over time. So for the year 1987 we have 100,000 publications matched, and in 2013 16 we see 350,000 publications. So in total we have 6 million publications. In this graph we see 3 or 4 different types of publications that we have identified. So in blue we see the share of publications for which we have seen that there are references in the original Elsevier publication, but for which we cannot find any references in Web of Science. And this highlights especially a problem until 1996. Then in red we see a category of publications for which we have identified more cited references in Web of Science compared to the original publication. In green, fewer cited references. And in purple we see the share of publications with an equal number of cited references in the original publication and in Web of Science. So this graph summarizes the following. So for 1 out of 5 publications, you can see that there is at least one cited reference that is problematic in Web of Science. And this was a very rough estimate because until now we have just looked at the number of cited references. So to say something more about the real quality of the cited reference data of Web of Science, we needed to match the cited references in both sets really at the reference level. So we have tried to do this. This is quite complicated. This is far from straightforward because of the errors in the data. But well, we made an attempt doing this. And in this graph we see then some results based on this matching at the reference level. And especially the percentage of missing cited references in Web of Science. And then for the later years we see that 0.6–0.7% of the cited references are indeed missing in Web of Science. And yeah, it's a very rough estimate. It's work in progress. And it is a difficult task. So to be sure about our results, we again did a validation study, a small one in this case. So we have taken a random sample of the cited references that are missing from the publication year 2015. So 74,000 in total, and we took a random sample of 60, and we found that 33 out of the 60 are indeed missing cited references. For 10 cases we found that they are completely incorrect, so the data that is available in Web of Science is completely wrong. I will show some examples. And for 16 cases we have seen errors in the metadata in Web of Science, so wrong publication year, wrong volume number, and so on. And in fact there was only one example that was correct, that turned out to be correct. So let me show you some examples. So first of all, an example of missing cited references. So this is a publication. Over here we see the reference list of this publication. And it turned out that the first part of the reference list was completely missing in Web of Science. And yeah, it's quite fascinating. So because this also suggests that Web of Science is still working with the PDF files, probably. Not with the XML file format that publishers nowadays should be able to provide. So yeah, the reference list starts here with a paper by Biel. And if you go to Web of Science, then indeed we see that it is starting with a paper by Biel. And the first part is completely missing. This is another example of missing cited references in Web of Science. This is a different one. So just two cited references that are in the middle of the cited reference list, and these two cited references are missing in Web of Science. So it's unclear, the reason is unclear. This is an example of incorrect cited references. So we see a paper by Lee, 2013, and Jan, 2014. And if we look at the reference list in Web of Science, then we see that there is a paper by Lee, 2013, but all the information is completely different. So it's another journal, other volume number, and so on. And the same holds for the Jan publication. On this slide, I've listed other examples of incorrect cited references that we have found. So on the right, we see the original cited reference extracted from the full text paper, and on the left, we see how Web of Science has translated this. And in red, I've highlighted the parts that are the same, but as a human, we can immediately see that those cited references are not the same. They are pointing to different publications. So 3 other examples. And this is, well, we think this is a serious problem, because this is provided as raw data. So this is all we see in the Web of Science database. And apparently we cannot completely trust this. It's not completely wrong. There are cases of where we have found more cited references in Web of Science compared to the original article. And in fact, we found that Web of Science is doing a quite good job in identifying the cited references, because there are many difficult cases. So for example, up here, this is a paper, a reference list, and there are many sub-references listed. And Web of Science is correctly identifying all those sub-references. So that was quite impressive to see. Another example, so it's just a normal reference list, but in the first reference we see 2 series of page numbers. And in Web of Science, you can see that they are correctly storing both cited references. So this was quite a surprise to us. So some conclusions. Still work in progress, but some first results show that about 0.3% of the cited references are missing in Web of Science. About 0.2% of the cited references in Web of Science have minor errors, so incorrect publication year or volume number. 0.1% of the cited references in Web of Science have major errors, so the data is completely wrong. Web of Science is actually doing a good job in handling references pointing to multiple target documents. And of course, these results are based on LCP publications only. So publications from other publishers may yield different outcomes. Thank you for your attention.